point, it just kind of is what it is. Now, you might be wondering why I have a hat on. And it's because my hair is not done. And I wanted to film this video because it's running a little late, seeing as this is my August wrap up and it's like September 9th. So, in the month of August, I read 12 books. A great stack of them is what you see right here in this corner. And that is another one, wasn't there? Oh, I got Magnolia Parks right there. What the heck? Oh.
1 eternity later.
Ah, yes, because I got rid of it. So here I have 5 of those books, 5 physical books. And then the last 7 are all in different formats, audiobook and electronic. So I'll be putting them on the screen once I mention them. So I'm just going to go through the books that I read. First and foremost, I'm going to go through the ones that I have physically. And I guess read you the blurb and give my rating for it. So I read The Pearl by John Steinbeck. And I did a review on this, so I'm not going to read the blurb for this one because I've done that. I don't know if I've posted it yet, but I did do a review for The Pearl, so I'm not going to read the blurb. But I did rate it. I think I rated it 4 stars. Really good. So good. And yeah, those are my thoughts. And then next, I did a reread of Sarah J. Maas's Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. And you know, today I have been watching videos about things, about different topics that all involve writing and things that you should and shouldn't do as a writer. And you know, one of the videos made me think of Miss Sarah J. Maas and the way that she wrote Crescent City. And I was like, because originally I read this book and I was like, dude, I don't know what the heck is going on for like 80% of the book. And then the last 20% is like, bro, what? And it really stuck with me emotionally, and I was attached to a certain character who met their untimely demise, and it just ripped me to shreds. And then there were other things that happened, some very beautiful writing in this book. That's one thing that I'll say about Miss Sarah J. Maas is that she can write. All right, she's talented. And you can tell that, you know, she cares to some extent about the craft of writing. That's why she's so good at it. But other than that, I spent this whole book wondering, like, what the hell am I reading? You know, like, what is this? And, you know, I got to that last 20%, and then I was like, okay, full send. And, you know, I gave it a 5-star just for that last 20%. And I'm just kind of like, is it really a 5-star then if it's only 20% of a novel that is this thick? That is excellent? Is it really? Is it really? So this is my I can't speak English. I'm sorry. Sorry. this is my second time reading this book, and I pretty much felt the same the second time as I did the first. And so I'm not really sure what the hell the rating is for this book. Maybe a 3-star? Possibly? Probably? I guess? But let me read the blurb. Half fae, half human, Bryce Quinlan loves her life. Every night is a party, and Bryce is going to savor all the pleasures of Lanathian, also known as Crescent City, has to offer. But then a brutal murder shakes the very foundations of the city, and Bryce's world comes crashing down. 2 years later, Bryce still haunts the city's most notorious nightclubs, seeking only oblivion now, trying to put the past behind her when the murderer attacks again, and an infamous fallen angel, Hunt Athalar, is assigned to watch her every footstep. Bryce knows she can't forget any longer. As Bryce and Hunt fight to unravel the mystery, the threads they tug ripple through the underbelly of the city, across warring continents, and down to the deepest levels of hell, where things that have been sleeping for millennia are beginning to stir. And I guess that's a good blurb. But I don't know. I don't know if it needed to be 800 pages long. Yeah, it's literally 800 pages. I don't really know if that needed to be the case. So this one, it's undecided, I guess. Next, another reread, Magnolia Parks. There is no blurb on this one. I mean, it's a sentence. I don't think I'll call that a blurb, but I'll read it to you. How many loves do you get in a lifetime? Tells you absolutely nothing about this book. Nothing at all. About this mid-size slice of life romance. I thought that this was going to be one of my favorite books ever. And upon rereading it, and upon growing as a reader, as a person, as a young woman, it just doesn't hold up the way that it did when I first read it, when I was not as well read, and I hadn't opened up my horizons and my interests in things that I like to read. So with that being said, originally I think I rated this 4 stars, and I think now I will be rating it a solid 3.5. Not too bad, not amazing either, just what it is okay. Because originally what I loved about this book were the characters. Again, there's not really a plot with this. It's more like a slice of life. Oh my goodness, a slice of life. A slice of life romance, if you want to even call it that, where you're following this one girl, Magnolia Parks, and love of her life, BJ, and their friend group. And and I don't even know if I can call the group of people that they choose to associate themselves with, at least on Magnolia's end, friends. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Magnolia doesn't have any friends, because the way they treat her sometimes, and the way they gang up on her, and the way that they take BJ's side over hers, even though BJ was the one that messed everything up, and what he did was horrendous, and she did something similar, but what BJ did was far worse, and his friends knew. He knew, his closest friends even knew that he did that to Magnolia, and still they would freaking dog walk Magnolia. Like, baby doll, get some new friends, because these ones ain't it. And those are my thoughts on Magnolia Parks. Next, we have a much better book, a much bigger book, Haruki Murakami's 1Q84, which I read over the span of, I think, like 3 or 4 days. Never fear, I didn't physically read it in that short amount of time, because this is 1,100 pages. This is over 1,100 pages. So I didn't read 1,100 pages in 4 days. I listened by audio at work. So, but the blurb for this says a love story, a mystery, a fantasy, a novel of self-discovery, a dystopia to rival George Orwell's 1Q84 is a tremendous feat of imagination from one of our most revered contemporary writers. And what can I say? That is so true. This book is a marvel. Like, I mean, and then you just wonder how this came from somebody's head. Again, this is another book that I did a review on, so I'm not gonna spend a whole bunch of time talking about this, but it was good. I think I've rated it 4.5 stars. Haruki Murakami is a great writer. Yeah, even though a lot of this book creeped me out and gave me the ickies. The parts and that really speaks to how well this book is written, because it's a lot of the book that gave me the ick. But the parts that didn't give me the ick, the parts that wowed me, really did wow me enough for my rating to only go down half a point from a 5, because this would have been a 5. There are sections of this book that are 5 stars and will be 5 stars always forever, because I have tried to read this book multiple times, and each time the parts that I really enjoyed at the beginning, I still enjoy even to this day. So that speaks to Murakami's talent, his skill, his passion, his precision as a writer. And I think I will enjoy those parts for many, 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 many moons to come. And if you've read this book, you understand how that pun works. Because this book is all about moons. Anyway, next. We've got another big boy. This one is, I think 950 pages, almost 1,000, just shy of 1,000. Yeah, just shy of 1,000 pages. It's Leo Tolstoy's Anna Karenina. And this one I rated, I think, 4 stars. All happy families resemble one another. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Anna Karenina, ladies and gentlemen. I thought this, like with many classics, this book could have been significantly shorter if not for all of the political fluff and the dialogue and commentary on Russian society. This book could have been a lot shorter. A lot. Even shorter if it really focused on its namesake. I feel like for the book to be titled Anna Karenina, she doesn't get enough playtime, because this truly is a story that follows multiple people. And you just, I don't know, I didn't think you got enough of Anna for this to be called Anna Karenina. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. But that's Anna Karenina. And I did a review on this one too, so. And then now, since we're done with the books that I have physically, we're going to talk about the books that I don't have. So, I listened to 3 Weeks with My Brother by Nicholas Sparks on audio. I think I rated that like 4 stars. That was really good. It was basically just a memoir about 3 weeks that Nicholas Sparks spent with his brother during that time. Well, while reflecting on that time, he also reflects on the rest of his life and his relationship with his brother throughout that time, and all the ups and downs of family life that they went through, growing up poor and moving around a lot and just having normal familial issues. So it's really good book. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Listened to it. Didn't want to put it down. Didn't want to stop listening. So that was really good. And the next book I listened to, I think I listened to this the very next day, was I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I think I rated this 4 stars as well. It was I thought it was really good. And it's basically about her early years of trying to become an actress. She didn't really want to be an actress, and her mother was trying to live vicariously through her because she never got that opportunity, and she really wanted that. So she made Jeanette get into showbiz, and she didn't really want to do it. It talks about her struggles with eating disorders. It talks about her toxic relationship with her mom and how she struggled to break free of that toxicity as she got older and realized what was happening. And so it was really good. It was, I mean, yeah. Yeah, it was really good. 4 stars. And then I read A Will and a Way by Nora Roberts, which is just a short little romance about two cousins. Apparently, they were very distant cousins. Maybe in-law cousins, where their families married together, and that's how they became very distant cousins. But still, they have this uncle. There are 2 very unique people, Pandora, and I believe his name was Michael. Pandora and Michael. We're gonna call him Michael, even if his name wasn't Michael. Pandora and Michael. They're very creative people. She's like a jeweler, and he is a writer. And they have this uncle named Jolly, who was this very like eccentric kind of man. He dies, and in his will, as a last testament, he devises this plan to have them stay at his manor in order for them to inherit his fortune, his manor, and so as to not have to disperse it to the rest of his family, so as to not give it the fortune to, because it wouldn't have gone to his family, actually. It would have gone to charity. So he devises this plan where they have to stay in his manor with each other for 6 months. And if they can do that, then they will inherit everything that he left behind for them. And over this course of time, it was sort of a mystery. And their family, they're trying to get them to break the terms and conditions of the will so that they don't get the fortune and they don't get the manor and everything that Jolly leaves behind. Over this course of time, they fall in love, and they figure out who in their family is trying to harass them, trying to get them to break contract, and that's basically all the story is about. I think I rated it like 3.5 stars. It was pretty okay. Some pretty light reading, nothing too crazy. And then next I read Thankful for the Maverick, which I don't know the author's name, but it's a Harlequin novel, and when I post it up, I will like write her name on the screen because I can't think of it off the top of my head, which is a story basically, I don't even know because I skimmed most of it because it was just, every time I've read a Harlequin novel, it was pretty good, I've even read one that was like 4.5 stars. This one was like, what? I actually DNF'd it. I didn't finish it. I did get, I think a little over halfway through it. And then I was like, you know what? I don't like this. I'm done. And so that was Thankful for the Maverick. I probably rated it like a 2-star. Yeah, like a 2-star. And then I read Convenience Store Woman.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Again, I rated that 2 stars because it was basically about this girl who, it's not said, But I think that she had antisocial personality disorder, and she just doesn't fit into society, and she's weird. And so she gets this job at a convenience store, and she's worked there for her whole adult life, essentially. She's like in her mid 30s now, maybe even her 40s. I'm not sure, because she worked at a convenience store, I'm pretty sure, for 18 years. So she's probably in her 40s, because she started probably when she was like 18-ish or something like that. So she's somewhere in her late 30s, early 40s-ish, early to mid 40s. Yeah, it just wasn't good. I had to force myself to finish it. Yeah, 2.5 star for convenience store woman. Getting down to the wire here, I finished a book that I started probably about a month or two ago, by one of my favorite authors. I really like James Patterson, and I really love the Alex Cross series, but this one was pretty weird, and it was The Big Bad Wolf. Is about a Russian mobster, like in sex trafficking. That's basically what it was about. So 3 stars. Then finally, the last thing I read in August was Stephen King's The Breathing Method. And I haven't divulged this information on my channel yet, but I love Stephen King. He is my favorite author, and anything he writes, I read. There's some of his works that I have not read yet because they're quite big, and right now I'm not really, I don't know, I'm not in the mood for that. But he's my favorite author. I love his writing. Breathing Method was no different. I think I gave it like 4 stars. It's basically a short story or a novella about this group of men who get together and they tell scary stories. And it comes round to Christmas time, and on Christmas Eve they tell a special story. And this is where the breathing method comes in. One of the men is telling a story about a lady that he knew at one point who was pregnant out of wedlock, and essentially it's kind of woven into the story, this breathing method that ethnic women would do when giving birth, so that they wouldn't be burning so much energy screaming, yelling, hollering, because you're in agony giving birth. There's no doubt about that. But when you're using a lot of energy to scream, it just makes the process way more strenuous on the body, when it's already the most painful thing, the most strenuous thing a woman's body could go through in her life. And so what the breathing method is you just, and you like breathe through it, and you kind of just like, instead of grunting, screaming, and things like that. And the story ends in tragedy, to kind of keep from giving spoilers, and how, this man who's telling this story, because he was a doctor, he's telling this story and he's thinking like, did things end up the way that they did because he had her doing the breathing method? Really good. So I gave it 4 stars. And that is all 12 of the books that I read in the month of April. And I gotta say, it was a pretty decent month. At one point I was reading 16, 18, 20 books a month, and you know, I'm looking back, I don't know how I did that, because, you know, I don't know how I did that. Let me be clear. I don't know how I did that. I don't know. But I was doing that at one point. I don't know if I ever want to go back there. You know what I mean? Because I just wonder how much of that did I actually let process and sink in for me to grasp and be able to understand and be able to really truly have thoughts on. But that's my wrap up for August, all 12 books. And I hope that wherever you are, you're having a good day or evening, and that you have or you will read a good book. I'll see you when I see you.